There are times that we'll see something, our equipment will verify it. We'll be able to verify it on our equipment. Other times we'll see these abnormalities on our instrumentation, and then we'll see the observations. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we'll just see the observation and nothing, doesn't really correlate so much on the instrumentation. And that's happened a number of times, even with the radar system. So we may not have an ADS-B track on. So now it would automatically become suspect. And, we'll look on our radar as well, and we have no active targets on our radar. Why that is I think at this point is anybody's guess. Apparently they're not responding in a classical way, a typical way that affects the environment, in a way that can be monitored by radar or some of the camera systems. And we discovered that, some of these objects you might see in the visible spectrum, and other times they'll change their signature. They'll end up in the infrared or possibly the ultraviolet. And we have been able to monitor this stuff through multiple camera systems, multiple detection systems, because they do have a habit of jumping from one to the other. And you have this elaborate spectrum of data that shifts back and forth. So we call it signature management.
Our initial impression is that that these objects are able to change their spectral signatures, so they can be visible at some moments and not visible in other moments, but be visible in other ranges of the electromagnetic spectrum, like in the infrared or maybe in the ultraviolet. Radar. Sometimes you can track them, but most of the time they're intermittent on radar, or they're possibly able to evade radar. And other times they appear to be jamming the radar. Yes. And this may be due to its surface structure. There could be deflecting radar waves. There could be due to a field effect around them. What we believe may be a gravitational lensing that's distorting the radar signal or causing a false propagation.
And that's what we suspect at this point, is that there is some kind of gravitational lensing taking place simply because of the way they're presenting themselves, the way they're affecting the electromagnetic spectrum from visible light to radio waves. We'll see these interesting anomalies. Visible light would have chromatic changes to it, and you'll see red shifting and blue shifting, and depending on the way the objects are rotating or transitioning, where it might red shift in one direction and blue shift in the other. These are the kind of things that we've found that very unusual. In other cases where we'll monitor the visible spectrum and we'll see some anomaly or some oddity to the radio waves, the radar in general, the where the radar is picking it up, where sometimes we'll have long delay echoes, where these radio waves are coming back late or sometimes early. This is something you would expect around some kind of a gravitational lens or a field of some sort, but it seems to affect the whole electromagnetic spectrum. These are the kind of things that have drawn into question.